Welcome to Called to Homeschool with your host, Meg Thomas. I am a mother of 7 with 5 homeschool graduates. Each week, we'll talk about real-life homeschool, mindset shifts, and practical tools you can use in your home. Because homeschooling isn't just about school, it's about restoring the family. Hello, welcome back to Called to Homeschool. Today, we are diving into pillar number 2 in our Parenting Stillers, a series, Noticing the Good. Now, the pillar is simple, but it is powerful, because here is the truth. About 95% of the good things our children do go completely unnoticed. Not because we don't care, not because we're ungrateful, but because we're busy, distracted, juggling 1,000 things, and often focus on whatever needs fixing. Our attention naturally goes to the messes, the conflicts, the noise, the things that stand out. But when we forget to notice all the good happening quietly in the background, we miss the biggest parenting opportunity we have. Because here's the secret. Whatever you give attention to will grow. If you spend most of your attention correcting, you'll see more things that need correction. But if you start giving more attention to the good, the kindness, the effort, the small wins, you'll see more of that instead. And the best part? Kids absolutely light up when you notice the good. They soften, they stand taller, they repeat the behavior because it's finally felt seen. So how do we do this more intentionally? I want to give you a few simple phrases that make this easy, and you don't have to overthink it. You don't need a motivational speech or a fancy phrase. You can start with, I notice, I see, I hear. That's it. Then you add 2 pieces to that. The action or emotion you noticed, and the quality or character trait you want them to believe about themselves. Let me give you a few examples. Sarah, I noticed that you are playing softly with the baby. I appreciate how gentle you are. Mike, I see that you shared with your brother. You are such a thoughtful big brother. Emma, I hear you working through that frustration without yelling. You are learning how to handle hard things. Struggling in your homeschool? You don't have to. Check out the Homeschool Bootcamp at CoachMegThomas.com. These moments don't take long. You're not applauding everything they do. You're simply naming the goodness you want to see grow. And here's what happens over time. Kids start to internalize the qualities you call out. They begin to see themselves as gentle, thoughtful, capable, hardworking, kind, patient. When you say, I notice how calm you stayed. You are telling them, this is who you are. This is a part of your identity. Noticing good doesn't just reinforce behavior, it shapes who they believe they are. So here's your homework this week, especially with Christmas and the holidays. Pick one child or all your children in one thing and intentionally use I notice at least 3 times a day. Small things count. Quiet things count. Unremarkable moments count because this pillar works through repetition, through consistency, through choosing to shift your attention towards the good that's already there. Remember, whatever you give attention to will grow. So sometimes when people hear this, they think, I don't have the bandwidth to do this, Meg. You are asking too much of me and requiring too much. Here's the deal. We are going to simply take the energy you were putting into noticing the bad and getting after a kid and getting frustrated, yelling, all those things, and we're ignoring the noise, like I talked about in the last video, in the last pillar, in the last podcast. And instead putting our attention to what is going right, what is good. And simply, it's the same amount of energy. We're just putting it in a way that actually builds progress, builds relationships, and will actually help things instead of hinder things. I cannot wait to share the last pillar with you in next week's episode. Have a great week. Thanks so much for listening to Call to Homeschool. If today's episode was helpful, the best way you can support the show is by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more homeschool moms find this work, and I appreciate it so much.